Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of the 123's, the MPC2000, with your host, Dick Hifi. We're going to be doing a little more programming and sequencing today. I'm not going to say it's advanced programming and sequencing because it's still basics, but a little bit more in depth from where we left off last time and using the two things together more. In episodes 3 and 4, we talked about first programs, then sequencing. We're going to kind of integrate the two things now, moving toward a workflow. So let's get to it. Now, one thing that people want to know about that is a feature of this machine and all the subsequent copies, because most of the things that have pads that look like this were kind of copied from this concept. So one thing is the muting situation. So I have a few instruments here. So let's say you didn't want those to play all together. You wanted them to mute each other off. So let's use these two as an example because they're both in the low frequency. I don't want them jumping all over each other. So what we're going to do is go to, we're going to go in program mode. In the assign mode, we're going to pick our instrument. It's Billy 202 and Billy 102. Mr. Billy Higgins, by the way, on that record. Who's the drummer? Anyway. So go to mode. Instead of normal, we're going to go to I guess it stands for simultaneous. Wait, that's not what we want to do. Hit parameters. And go to overlap mode where it says mono. Now we're going to open this window. So again, just to parameters, overlap mode, mono. Well, it can be in poly. Open the window anyway. It's going to say mute assign. So I was confused a little bit by this because I would be doing it the opposite. I would be thinking I'm muting off the other one with the other one. Say I'd be muting off 10 with 12, but I would be doing the opposite. So it gives you the language there, and I just repeat it to myself so I don't get confused, that this note will mute off this note. So this is an assign. You can't just hit the note that you want to move because it moves the whole assignment. So this note on pad 12, you got to scroll to it. We'll mute off pad 10. So you just scroll until you see A10. Did I just confuse you all enough? Probably so. So now that mutes off A10. So I want to do the reverse too. I want 10 to mute off 12. So I go here, and now I'm going to find A12. And there you go. Now I'm going to close this, and I'm going to check my work. It does mute off. Does it? Okay. So yeah, that works. You get 2 mutes off in this machine. You don't get all of them. But there are workarounds because you can copy this instrument, the same instrument to another one and add more things that it will mute the same. Was that confusing? You could work that out. Copy the instrument, add separate notes, and play it differently. So those are the mute off functions. Another thing that this machine is known for is its 16 levels. So go to the main screen, and we're just going to hit 16 levels. And it's going to come up. This is the assign page. So what do we want to assign? I have this sound here. I want to assign that to my 16 levels. Now, 16 levels of what, you may ask? Velocity, yes. You can have 16 levels of velocity. You can go from incrementally louder to softer. You can also do the note variation, which is tuning. Or you can scroll it to tuning. You can do decay, attack, filter. You can adjust all those things. But what we're going to concern ourselves right now is the tuning. So we will note variation tuning, original keypad, and we're going to leave it on 13. I like to put it where my instrument was, unless I have other specific needs, just to keep myself from getting confused, because you'll see why. And we're just going to turn that on. So now, all these notes are what I had here. Now what happens is you go to program, and if I start to want to adjust the pitch, I need to remember it's on 13. Because if I'm hit this note and I start adjusting the pitch, I'm not adjusting the right pitch. So 13, that's where I want it. That's my original note. So say I wanted to bring that down. I'll bring that there. And it affects all those subsequently. But I want to put that back where I was. So again, just remember where you're at editing, because you can get confusing when you're in 16 level mode. Yeah, so here I am. Now I have it in poly, so I can play chords. Right, you've seen horror movies, right? Or I can put it in mono to where it's monophonic. One note will mute off the other, as opposed to poly. Okay, you get the idea. So, now you can play around with that, and you have your, I got my little sequence going. You get the idea. Fool around with it, find something you like. So that's how you go into 16 modes. To get out of that, you just hit this again. All right. Now, we'll go to another page that I almost showed you by accident. This is the doubles page. So I'm going to do two things with this example. I'm going to show you how to double it a note, or how to play one note and get two notes out of it. So I'll give you an example real quick, which is not going to be so practical, but we'll do it. Go into where it says mode and normal, simultaneous. So it's going to simultaneously play the other note. So here, we can't just pick that like that. Say I want this to play together. You can't just hit that. You got to go over here and manually scroll to it. So we're looking for A13. Have you seen it? So if we play the sequence now, so if I wanted to use that, but I feel like it's too loud, it's not terrible. Kind of is. All right, anyway, that was our example. So we're going to go back to our program, go to this, and we're going to take this out here. We'll go to off. We got another kick there. But what we are going to do is we're going to assign this Joe K1, it's a kick. We're going to assign that same sound to this pad, if I can find it. All right, there it is. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to play it simultaneously. And I'm going to show you why in a second. You may be saying, why would you do that? It's because we have a reason. A.5, there it is. Now we got the same thing happening. But they're playing pretty much the exact same way, because they're at the same pitch. They're almost identical. What we are going to do is pitch this kick up to give it a little more attack. That's kind of high. And we're going to take this one and totally change it. I'm going to go to frequency. I'm going to hit 0 and enter. It is just a low-end thump right now. I'm going to play with this tuning. I'm going to bring it way down. And that is just crazy low end thump. Now I'm going to go to resonance, and I'm going to jog this up, and we're just getting crazy now. But what we can do is go to our volume and turn it way, way down because we don't need all that bottom. But now it is just a nice subtle low end. And when we play it with this, we're hearing those two things together. Now this is not sounding great to me yet, so I'm going to go full with this tuning. Also this maybe, and maybe this, the decay. Now we're getting somewhere. I like that. So that's the low end part of our kick. I'm not sure if you're really picking that up, especially if you're listening to it on your phone, but we put those two together. If you heard that with the big speakers, you'd be like, oh, there's the bottom end there. So let's play our sequence now. And that bottom end of that is really thumping now, so we probably want to turn that down even more. You know how the bottom end goes. You think it sounds all good, and then you go listen to it in somebody's car, and it like destroys their car and stuff. And so anyway, that's a different story for a different day. So that is a couple of different little techniques that you can use in there. Just to do as you will. And we will see you next time. Until then, have a good time.